the house of the wonderful Dr. Maya Angelou. Thanks for welcoming us into your home.
Thank you. I'm delighted that you're here.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
If one would go through your bio, it's almost astonishing the things that would say. Never mind the fact celebrated writer and mentor and all that, but then you see dance club owner, and then you see pimp, and you see prostitute. You see all of this. What a life.
I think that when young people of any race are reasonably bright and find themselves with no open doors, they will do many things. Alas, there are those who will not be forgiving, and so that they blame the person for trying to make a better world for herself or himself. And so that becomes a pejorative and an assault. And so people say, you know, you once did it. But I mean, at 18 or 20, you might do many things.
Right.
If you're blessed, you will come out of that. You will forgive yourself. That's the most important thing.
Was it a series of events or a moment when you realized that you had found an open door?
Yes, many times. I thank God for that. There's an old spiritual 19th century gospel song which said, "When it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds." So many times I've had rainbows in my clouds. People who've been kind to me, who've said, you don't have to do that. I believe you can do better. Some ones were black and some were white. Some were Spanish speaking, some were Native American. Some were gay and some were straight, fat and thin and pretty and plain. People lifted me up and said, I believe in you. You can do better. And so I realized that that was given to me, and all I have as a response is to prepare myself so I can give that to somebody else who is yet to come.
As you approach your next birthday, it'll be the anniversary, of course, not just of you, but also the death of Martin Luther King Jr. And you didn't celebrate for a while, right?
Yeah.
Because it was on that same day. What do you remember from that time?
Oh, it was terrible. I had promised Dr. King that I would go back with him for 1 month and try to raise money for his Poor People's March. I said, but I can't do it until after my birthday, because on my birthday I intend to give a party in New York for my sophisticated friends, explain to them why I was going back with Martin. And of course, I was cooking the dinner for my party when my sister friend came in. And she asked me, had I listened to the radio, television? I know. And she told me that Martin Luther King was dead. Life stopped for me for a few days. Just terrible. I couldn't believe that this great man, this great dream, great dreamer, this person who dared to love everybody could be killed before he could realize his dream. It's terrible.
That kind of person we won't see again. It appears that way.
We'll be proud again of people who are like the Kennedys, daring, like the Kings, like, oh yes, we'll find the people.
And Mrs. Clinton.
And Mrs. Clinton, yes.
It's really, it's incredible.
Indeed, yes, we will.
You know, are you looking forward to her inauguration?
I am very much. I have to write another poem.
That's right.
I hope she'll ask me to do so. Years ago, I had seen what she did in Arkansas and was concerned about the prisoners, the prisons, and treatment in the prisons. I thought, because the majority of the prisoners were black men. She was concerned about their treatment. I thought, well, hello. So I told her that if she ever ran for anything, I've got her back.
Mm-hmm.
So I had her back. And when many politicians, Democrats, called me here and said, please tell Mrs. Clinton, ask her to step down because Senator Obama is going to become our candidate. When she stepped down, I stepped right down and went over to the Obama camp and said, if I can be of any use, please use me.
Which they did.
Which she did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More with Dr. Maya Angelou from Winston-Salem right after this.
All right, coming up, Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Tupac Shakur, and Maya's impact on all of them.
All right, you're back here on the program. We're in Winston-Salem, or North Carolina, the home of Dr. Maya Angelou. She came here to teach for 1 year, and it's been 31, 32 years.
Yeah.
What's the allure of the place?
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Loving it, too.
It's quite a
At
beautiful...
one time, I thought I was a writer who could teach, but I found I'm a teacher who can write.
Are you a hard teacher?
Mm-hmm. I'm tough.
Yeah.
I'm tough. I'm loving, and I'm tough. I work very hard, and I want young men and women to know you have to work very hard. With Richard Pryor and Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, a number of the men, especially men, but the women too, they have come here to my home in North Carolina to talk to me and to ask me how do I feel about this or that. And they're all my children. I accept that they're my children. I accept that you are. You see, it's important for me to understand that. Then I must tell you the truth as I understand it. Because you may be the last person I'll speak to. Life is life and death is death. And so I must be telling the truth when I speak.
You did that with Tupac, when Tupac was a bit out of what is in his own space on Poetic Justice. You pulled him aside and you instructed him.
Yeah.
What was he like?
I didn't know who he was, you know. I knew, I'd heard, he was into a big row with another young man. And so I said to him, may I speak to you? And he was cursing, "Ooh, I wouldn't give a..." I said, I understand that, but let me speak to you. If these mother... I said, I got you. However, let me speak to you. And finally, I said, when was the last time anyone told you how important you are? Did you know our people stood on auction blocks, were sold, bought and sold? Did you know, so that you could stay alive today? And finally, he heard me and stopped talking and started to weep. And I put my arms around him and I walked him back into the arena and he quieted. And I went back to my trailer and Janet Jackson came running and she said, "Dr. Angelou, I don't believe you actually spoke to Tupac Shakur." So I said, "Darling, I don't know 6-pack, 4-pack. I had never heard of him." But I mean, that wasn't in my world.
Yeah. What brings you the most joy today?
That's nice. I've never been asked that question. Joy brings me joy. I love to make people laugh. And to tell people things that they might not have thought of before. Yes, that brings me joy. Children, my students. I have students all over the place. They just tickle me so. Yes, I have loads of children, some pretty ones and some gay ones and fat ones and thin. I have lots of them.
I think in part because you fight for them.
Absolutely.
You fight for equality.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how it's been a long battle, but even in the conversation about gay rights over the last 5 years,
yes,
how the change has happened.
Absolutely. I was amazed, always amazed at people's short-sightedness. How can you think that you can plant an orange seed And if anything comes up, you can go out and harvest onions. Damn, Jack. Don't you know better than that?
Well, you know this, for a lot of people, it's based on their spirituality. They think that it's a sin, and even people in my family who are very religious feel that way. But you seem to have found this way to have a strong faith.
Yeah.
But not extend it to that.
Oh, I would not. I didn't make the people. God made those people. And I'm a child of God. And so are they. And so I would look a darn fool to try to tell God what to do with his people, her people, its people. No. I don't do that.
Coming up, Maya on what it is to be Canadian, past and present.
All right, you're back here on the program as we celebrate a wonderful day with Dr. Maya Angelou. For someone who's been a part of so much and accomplished so much, what is left to do for you? What is the thing that you really want to do?
I don't know yet. I have to be asked to do it. I have to be challenged to do it. I had no idea that you would be so entertaining and so engaging. If someone had asked me that yesterday, I would have not been able to say I was going to speak to George Stroumboulopoulos. But now, see, I can say this has been exciting to me.
Obviously, authenticity, as we talked about, is a big part of you, and your mind is there. Do you think about the frailty of the body now?
Oh, of course. It would be wonderful to live as long as I'm going to live and be present. What I really want to do is be a representative of my race, of the human race. I have a chance to show how kind we can be, how intelligent and generous we can be. I have a chance to teach and to love and to laugh. And I know that when I finish doing what I'm sent here to do, I will be called home. And I will go home without any fear, trepidation some, wondering what's going to happen. But
for people who are watching and they're about to embark on a new year,
yeah.
What would you say to them?
Tell the truth to yourself first and to the children. Live in the present. Don't deny the past. Live in the present and know the charge on you is to make this country more than it is today. In our country, to make this more than these yet to be United States, and to make Canada all that it can be for all the people who come there with their thirst for freedom and fair play. That's true of Japan. It's true of Australia. We have to do something. We have to be up and coming, up and doing. We owe it. We've already been paid for. Whether the ancestors came from Eastern Europe, trying to escape the pogroms, the little and large murders, if the ancestors came from Ireland, trying to escape the potato blight, wherever they've come from, they've paid for each of us already. And all we really have to do is pay for those who are yet to come. Thank you very much.
Well said. A real pleasure. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Maya Angelou.